Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and I am podcasting off the rainy shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. If you like the rain, it's raining all day, so it's thunderstorm and stuff like that. But we need it, so I can't complain about that at all. For all the folks who are listening and watching the Student Body Right USC podcast, and the Put on Raiders podcast, we got folks from Sacramento, California, Kingsville, Texas, Oakland, California, San Diego, California, Victor, Idaho. All right, we got British Columbia. We got Riverside, Rhode Island, Fishers, Indiana. A couple more cities in here. Let's go Richmond, California, Los Gatos, California, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Springfield, Virginia, and let's see here, one city that I'd never heard of before. Let me go with Union City, California. They're all listening and watching the Student Body Right USC podcast, all that good stuff. So we appreciate doing that. Let's start off with, you didn't get a chance to kind of come on the show and talk about, and this is Coach B. Coach B is, we gotta have our man Coach B on the show. You didn't get a chance to come on and talk about the Oregon game, but it was kind of there. Well, they didn't dominate in that game or anything like that, but it was there. The opportunity was there. So, what were your thoughts about the kind of short synopsis of the Oregon game?
It was there for us, but like I told you before, I didn't expect much better out of our defense. I didn't really, but I told you before, and we talked a couple weeks ago. Our problem with our teams didn't end with Alex Grinch. You can say it started with Alex Grinch, but it didn't end with Alex Grinch. Our offense has just been struggling. We've been struggling to be creative on offense. We've been struggling to create mismatches to get guys open. And then when we do scheme guys open, it seems like we drop the ball. It's crazy, huh? But for overall, we haven't been able to do things offensively that we should be able to do in scheme-wise. And that's been my worry, is that we haven't been able to scheme our guys open and do the things that we need to do to play to rise above our defense. Last year we did that. This year we're not doing that. And we're looking for big plays. We're designing big plays. I remember Lincoln Riley saying, Caleb had the turnovers in the Notre Dame game, but it was a big play right behind it. Well, how about you just scheme something open right underneath it so he doesn't have to try to make all these big plays on every play? And I think Oregon was no different. I don't think there was anything different between Oregon and Washington. It was going to be, Caleb was going to have to be Superman. Our offensive line is not holding. Mannheim and I know our center went down a little bit in that game, but our offensive line ain't holding. Caleb is absolutely running around for his life. We're going to have to patch up that offensive line.
Not happy.
And be able to give Caleb just a little bit more time.
Yeah, I think there are going to be those moments where Caleb holds the ball a little bit too long, but there's also those times where he just needs to have time to just drop back at a normal set and get rid of the ball. And
Absolutely.
And you can't sit there and run. You can't throw everything within a 10-yard box and line of scrimmage, because that's where pick sixes come from. So you got to be careful with that. But it's a big play offense. I think Taj Washington. I'm gonna start calling him Victor Cruz, because he reminds me of Victor Cruz. He really reminds me of Victor Cruz. I'm gonna stay by that all this time, because he just reminds me of Victor Cruz. He's always open, always ready to make a big play. He made a big play in this game as well. I think Brendan Rice also has just been improved so dramatically too from end of last year to now. So he's been a big time receiver for them as well. But gotta be able to get those guys open. You can't tell me you can't get something quickly open for like a guy like Deuce Robinson and people like that. It's just, and also Zachariah Branch has kind of struggled as well down the stretch here, because he had a critical first down drop that he could have easily converted into a first down. as well too. So there's been some ups and downs there as far as that goes. It's been the same kind of situation for them, which is kind of weird. Every game this year, Caleb talked about it today. Like he was surprised and shocked to be 7-4. So and you can see a disappointment in his face. I do give him a lot of credit because these guys on the talking head shows on Fox and everything like that, he should quit. He should not play. He should do all that stuff. But I mean, that's not the competitive player that we've seen over the 2 years, right, Coach B? I mean, he knew. I don't know about the bowl game, but I never had a doubt that Caleb Williams was going to sit out during the season.
No, I never thought that. The kid wants to play. You know what I mean? He's a gamer. So I never once said, "Oh." I had people ask me on the space and gridiron, "Hey, do you think Caleb's going to play?" Yes, he's going to play. Unless he's hurt, I don't. And even still, I mean, he showed me a lot last year in the Pac-12 championship game when
I was there.
He's clearly hurting, and he's playing. That kid is a gamer. He's not worried about the next level. It sounds good. You hear all these reports come out. He's worried about focusing on playing this season, and whatever happens, happens. After this.
Yeah, no question about it. Speaking of Caleb, good segue into Mr. Williams. It's his birthday on Saturday, which is pretty cool. And then also, let's be honest, we got to be realistic here. If you have a chance to go to the game and you have not seen Caleb Williams play, live, I have many times. This probably will be the time to go see him play because this is probably the last time I would say he's going to play in a USC uniform. I would think that this would be. I think he would forego the bowl game, and nobody would fault him for that. I mean, he has to kind of protect that status of being a top 5 NFL pick. What are your thoughts about this possibly being Caleb Williams' last game?
Well, I mean, like it's highly possible. I watched the Utah game. I wish he would have won the Utah game and balled out. It was my birthday. Utah game was my birthday. I was there in the building. I probably will be in the building this weekend also. I love the rivalry game. I just love the atmosphere. I know we're at a 12:30 kick, which is annoying. But you have to see the kid play. You know what I mean? Like if you get nothing else, it's magical.
Yeah,
it's definitely magic to see him play. You know what I mean? So anybody, if you can, be in the building. Because if this is his last game, like you said, I doubt he plays in a bowl game. But it wouldn't surprise me if he played in a bowl game.
It really wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise if he played.
First quarter and Lincoln's like, okay, you're done. You know what I mean? Bowl game doesn't mean much. Let Miller Moss get in. Let Malachi get in. Let them run the show for second, third, fourth quarter, whatever have you. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yep. Man, what's wrong with y'all either? Can I say one thing about a 12:30 start? I'll say this, okay? I'm really people who cover SC, and they all have pretty good shows. I listen to some of them sometimes. I don't do it all the time because I don't want to listen. I don't want to take things from their show to put in my show, but they kind of cry and whimper about the late starts, like the 4:00 or the 7:30 starts, and I'm like, dude, like you literally have 6 nights a year, if that. Like, so the USC media, please stop crying about when these games start. I mean, because like the first time when the schedule came out for this game, they were like, "Yay, 12:30, all right." I mean, like, dude, I'm like, the chair. I'm like, dude, what are you, like 4 years old? Like, you can't just. What are you, 70? You can't stay up and watch. You can't stay and watch a game. You're getting paid to watch a game. You can't do it. Like, it just drives me crazy when they complain about the start time of the game, which drives me nuts. This is going to be.
I like going the game going into the nighttime, fourth quarter, the torch is lit. It just feels different. The feel is different when they, the lights start flickering.
Exactly.
Score.
Exactly.
Like that all plays into the atmosphere. It just feels different when you have that 4:30 start, 4 or 5 o'clock start. And then you can tailgate all day too. Now we got to be up there early in the morning, try to tailgate till 11:30. Then the day is pretty much over by 3 and the game's over. I mean, like I said, especially for this game I felt like we should have had it later on. Especially at home.
Exactly. And that's the East Coast thing where they just they
Yeah,
just like the Penn States and the Michigans, if it's not 12 o'clock, they start crying like babies.
right.
It's unbelievable. It's crazy. I don't even get it, but it is what it is. Any fond memories? Because this is basically kind of like we're getting close to the end of the Pac-12 here. Some great players, some all-time
Yeah,
greats coming from this conference, and we can thank George Klickoff for just being an absolute
idiot. Hmm.
idiot and a check collector. He didn't want to do his job, and I feel awful for the kids, the administrators, and the people who work at Oregon State and Washington State as they're sitting there trying to look for teams to play, like because this guy didn't want to take the ESPN deal when it was right in front of him, and couldn't even he had the most valuable product in the world is football, and this dude couldn't get a media deal. How horrible is that?
Yeah, I mean, I said it a while ago. Like it really sucks for Oregon State, Washington State, because if they don't get nothing, that's just going to if they don't get into a conference, that's going to deplete their programs. And they both have had for the last couple of years pretty decent programs. Were they world
This,
beaters?
yeah,
No. Were they viable programs? Yes. Did they play spoiler a lot? Yes. Ask Oregon last year. I mean, Washington's the Apple Cup is nothing to sneeze at. Those games may or may not be played anymore. So we have to sit back and look and say, what about the kids? What about, all that stuff? Like that we're in an unprecedented time because I mean, and I don't know how hard they tried or what they did to get into another conference. I mean, did they not just want to go to the ACC? Because Cal and Stanford getting to the ACC over Oregon and Washington State was kind of wild to me.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Did they not try hard enough? Like I don't know what the ramifications was behind them not getting in, but I just know it's really bad for our conference. I mean, for how the conference is ending. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
definitely a bad look for them. Definitely a rough look for us as a whole. I mean, people want to blame USC, and you can do that. That's fine. It's within your rights to blame us, but it ain't our fault. You know what I mean? It ain't it. I'm not going for it.
It ain't my fault. But it's not. It's not in any way because I mean the deal. If the deal was in place, the Pac-10 would still be around.
Right.
And
You
the
got to
Pac.
think we had an opportunity to bring Texas and OU to the
Oh my
conference,
god!
and they said no. Think about that. Like that's crazy.
How do you not bring? How do you not bring Texas and
You had
Oklahoma?
you had opportunities. They came to the table, and I think it was before the Longhorn Network deal, and they said
Yes.
no. He said no.
Yeah.
Like you bring them
Yeah.
to the conference.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's nuts. Lincoln Riley. Obviously, he is the deflector, if you will.
Yes,
Um,
the master deflector.
the master deflector, which is like, I think he really know. I think he knows what's going on. But I just don't. I mean, I don't know if he wants to really. He has to kind of, yeah. The coach, you have to put forth a facade to protect your team and everything like that. But what are your biggest disappointments with him this year? And I think obviously the number one thing would be bringing Grinch in, and I think also to me would be the just not playing the best people because
Oh yeah, that's absolutely it, right? So
because
to
because
me,
USC always plays the best people.
yeah, it's about playing the best person, and we've always done that. And I also tell people like the people don't realize that Clay Matthews and Cushing were special teams guys. You know what I mean? Like we played the best players. That's what it's always been about. Um, and when with Lincoln, I think it's keeping Grinch on after last year, right? And then allowing it to go this long. Now, maybe you said maybe we could salvage something. You maybe didn't feel like the season was over, and if you made a change at you were gonna pretty much throw away the season. Well, the defense was throwing away the season with him there. That defense didn't play much worse without him. Like they didn't. They didn't play bad without him. Demani's still doing what Demani does. Like he's still like blowing coverages. Like we're still doing some of the same things. But what do you expect? What do you expect now? We're here at like week 11, week going to week 12, and now you want to fire him? Like that, you wasted a lot of time. You wasted a lot of our time. You know what I mean? And then my biggest thing with Lincoln was, again, for you to be an offensive guy that has this offensive genius, quote unquote, you had no creativity in your offense. You know what I mean? I saw desperation against teams really early off in the game that normally those teams, we see other teams do that to us. Right? We see trick plays in the first quarter against us. That's when you know it's desperate.
Yeah.
Those are plays you keep in your bag for later on when you need them. No, you're doing those plays to stay in the game. Like those two things to me, Lincoln, you got to become more creative. Like we know when you're running the screen. Why are you going 2x2 and running the screen? I have no clue why you're doing this. So, I mean, when certain things are happening, his play calling is very predictable. Or I'll put like this: the plays are very predictable. Forget about the play call; the plays are very predictable. So I mean, again, that's my disappointment with him. I'm hoping we really go out and take this defensive coordinator search to heart. Like I'm really hoping that he doesn't just pull somebody in and we're like, oh my God, what are we doing?
Yeah, I would say self-scouting is a big thing. So if he's into that, then they can improve dramatically. Hopefully he does do that. I would say my biggest thing is just, there's a lot of points in the run game. I mean, you can really score a lot of points in the run game. It's not always going to be, pass. I think for sure, for 100%, if they just stay with the run game against Washington, I mean, I think they beat them.
Right.
I mean, as bad as everything was with Washington, if they stay with the run game, they probably beat them, because this is just like, I mean, they couldn't stop Austin Jones. He was getting like 7-8 yards a carry, and it's just kind of
everything he wanted. Anything he wanted, he was getting it.
And honestly, the guy, like, I kind of don't want Washington to make the playoff, only because I just feel like one of these other teams, like if they play Michigan or if they play Georgia, they're just gonna line up and run the football, and they're gonna run over. They're gonna rush it for 300 yards. like I mean, it's really they can't stop the run. I would say, if I kind of hope the Ducks win it. The Ducks win the Pac-12, and then get in there, because at least they may not have the better quarterback, but at least they have the better defense and things like that. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. But yeah, I mean, like he has some explaining to do, and I do think that he really has to get things going in the right direction and get some depth on this football team for next year. Is there a 2000? I got this question from somebody the other day. Is there a 2024 recruit that you're excited about coming in next year?
No, honestly, I'm not. I think we're a really young team already as it is. I think that a lot of these guys are going to get. I mean, we're potentially probably losing Taj.
Taj is gone.
Taj is gone. Yeah, I mean, he's gone. And everybody else is KU. Obviously, I truly believe Caleb's gone. I've seen some reports that are saying, not reports, but people are saying, "Hey, don't leave. He can stay another year." I think, but our team as a whole is young, right? We're gonna lose Kalen, but I think that also we still got some other guys who can fill into that spot if we can be healthy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if Walker Lyons is gonna come, I think because I know, like I said, until they actually are on in the uniform in the games, I just I know
absolutely
they committed. So, but I'm gonna give them whatever. So I think the new weapon next year is definitely gonna be obviously you're looking for Jacoby Lane to do some things, but somebody has to fill that Taj role. So maybe a veteran wide receiver comes over to kind of be that just that veteran guy. And then, obviously you lose, a guy like Dorian Singer, who didn't really do much. I mean, I think that veteran guy could be Kyron Hudson, who's only a sophomore. So
true.
So he could be that veteran guy who kind of makes those big plays when there's clutch plays and let those other guys develop. I think we have to worry about. I think next year that the Zachariah Branch has to become more of a receiving threat.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think he's been a little up and down as far as that goes, but should be interesting to see what happens there, and see what they do on the defensive end as well too. So should be interesting as well. But I mean, listen, It's gonna be year 3. You can't really it's gonna be 12 teams in the playoff next year, right? 12 teams.
Yep.
I mean, you gotta be 1 of 12, man. Like you just can't.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely. We
yeah,
got to
you
be
can't.
one of 12, man.
You
There's no
can't miss it.
question.
You can't miss it 3 years in a row. You can't miss it 3 years in a row. Before we head out, I did want to, unless you had a subject you wanted to talk about real quick, you could definitely go ahead and pop one out if you want to. I was going to talk about some of the defensive coordinator.
No, that's
guys.
where I'm at. I'm at the
Yeah.
DC guy. Yep.
So let's
Yep.
go. Let's go there. So I'm gonna go with. So we have like I have a little bit of a top 10 here in front of me. This is just a compile from other people. So this is Jim Leonard, David Aranda, Trent Bray. You got Morgan Scaly, Jesse Minter, Joe. I can't say his last name from the one from Rutgers. D'Antone Lynn. You got Joe Rossi, Jeff Collins, and Tony White from Nebraska. So I think obviously the top 2 guys are Aranda and Leonard. They both have Wisconsin ties, but one of them has California ties.
Aranda, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I think Aranda might be a guy who would really kind of fit the bill here. He has not been let go or fired or anything like that yet.
No, not yet.
No, but people are thinking that. I mean, they might just, who knows? Baylor might just say, "Hey, do we really want to let him go? Maybe if things don't go right with the search and with the Aggies, maybe he ends up with the Aggies. Who knows? Who knows? But I gotta go by, obviously Jim Leonard doesn't have ties anywhere to Lincoln Riley or Southern California. So do you think that's he obviously would like to be anything but a defensive analyst for Illinois. He wants to do something more than that, right? He's too talented for that. So
right. So my thing about Jim Leonard is he has ties to the Big Ten, so he knows the Big Ten landscape, right? So that way, I thought that was always my thing, would help us out tremendously. My thing about Dave Aranda, like you said, California ties, wanted to come before. He was supposed to come beforehand, right? He was supposed to be on our staff beforehand, but he knows how to build a defense from inside and out. Yeah. When he's focused solely on defense, he's a great defensive coordinator. No question. The only one that I didn't hear, and that's kind of that I think maybe way out of left field, I think we should take a strong look at, is Charlie Strong. Go get Charlie Strong. Charlie Strong is an excellent defensive coordinator. Maybe not head coach, excellent defensive coordinator. He built a sort of teams on defense. He can recruit the South. He can recruit the SEC. He builds a defense from front to back, and they are hitters. Hitters. He brings the linebackers back because he was a linebacker coach. He brings the linebackers back to prominence at our school. We know that that's what we live on. Our linebackers have been the strong point of this school on defense forever.
And if they actually played the right linebackers this year, they might have been pretty good.
Right. But I mean, when's the last time we've seen somebody wear 55?
Yeah, sure.
Right? I mean, we nominated Cam Smith, but he didn't want it. He stayed at 35. We haven't seen nobody take over that mantle 55. We need that. We need that leader, that captain, that says something more than just the number when you are in that locker room.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, I'm like, bring Charlie Strong. So forget about everybody else. Leonard, Aranda, Charlie Strong.
Let me see something here. Where is Charlie Strong right now?
He's an analyst for. Man. I just drew a blank. He's not, but he's not a deep. He's at Bama. He's a defensive analyst at Bama.
He is a defensive analyst at Bama. Yeah,
at Bama.
So some strong schools there throughout and it has a little NFL in him too as well, because in 2021 he was with the Jaguars as their inside linebacker coach and assistant head coach. So yeah, it should be. I mean, that could be something too as well too. 63 years old, can do things. So that's a name I haven't heard. No ties.
No, I mean, I think everybody kind of at least has left him out because after Texas, after everything went down with Texas, they kind of pushed him to the wayside. But Charlie Strong is a great defensive coordinator. That's one of the guys I would go for.
What do you know about the kid from SMU? It seems like people are high on him too as well. But is he just? I just say
their defense is playing bad offenses. They're capitalizing off bad offenses. I do not. That's the thing, man. Like I don't want, and there's nothing against the guy. Yeah. Their defenses are capitalizing, and they're doing what they're supposed to do, right? Capitalizing against bad offense. That's not a knock against him. He's doing what he's supposed to do. That's not a name that's gonna get us the recruits we're looking for.
Get the recruits you need, yeah.
It's not gonna name. It's not Southern California. Yeah. Bottom line, it ain't sexy, bro. It ain't sexy. Yeah. Bottom line, it's not it.
So dude, what do you think about what I told we talking about with Coach B? We're talking about the defensive coordinators, possible ones to take over for SC. Would you say? I mean, so Oregon State always has a good defense,
right?
They recruit the state well. If Trent Bray was the defensive coordinator, would you be mad at that?
So here's my thing about Trent Bray, right? And he has been able to turn guys 3 stars, make them look like 5 stars, right?
Yeah.
He's been able to recruit the state well. But again, their deficiencies and the teams we're going to see are going to be exposed because he builds the trenches very well. Yeah. He doesn't build the secondaries very well. Okay. He doesn't have in the secondaries, and that's what they traditionally lack.
Mm-hmm. And a couple more here. I don't want Lynn because I feel like it's a 1-year thing, and I'm not doing that. And he's just not a big enough name. I just kind of want somebody from, if we can get Charlie Strong, who I know you talk about. I just want somebody who has experience in that conference. I really want Aranda or Leonard. I really want somebody who knows that conference, who's going to bring some of those big uglies, so we can our flashy pass rushers can go get the quarterback on 3rd and long. I really want the guys who tackle things like that. I mean, they just need a couple of, along with the talented, flash players that USC is probably going to try to get defensively. You need to have some of those guys who are going to do all the dirty work, so you can stop the run, so you're not getting gashed. I mean, the running back from Washington said that we just handed the ball off because we knew every play that the defense was retreating and going backwards on every snap for the ball. Wow. That's not something you want to hear.
That's an indictment. That's definitely an indictment.
I mean, that is just like, what is going on in the free world as far as that goes. So we wasted a couple of years of having the best quarterback in football, college football, and I don't want to waste any more of it. So let's just see what they do as far as that goes. Tony White.
I'm stuck on my 3 guys. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yes, I don't see Morgan. No, that's good. No, I like it.
I don't see Morgan Scalley moving off of Utah.
I don't think so either. I don't. You know what though? I do think that he might, because if it depends. Like, some of these guys could be a defensive coordinator and just get paid good money to do that. If some of these guys want to be head coaches, like, he might have to. Like somebody like Morgan Scalley, he might have to move.
Why would he have to move though? Because they're going to go to the Big 12. I don't think he has to move. I think he can take his team because he's built a solid defense foundation, front to back. Because he's built that defense from front to back with in a foundation. It would be almost foolish for him to move at that point, because they're going to the Big 12, that he can be looked at as at a head coaching position if they have a good year on defense.
But now, I think if he goes to that conference, if they get any quarterback play, they're going to be the best team in that conference, and it's going to be kind of top. It's going to be kind of top heavy, so they don't have the competition. Whereas in the Pac-12, they competed with everybody. For as long as they been in the Pac-12 and he's been there, they competed for at a high level. So playing really good quarterbacks, playing good competition. So. I mean,
I guess my point is that his defense is going to show up, right? They're going to dominate, and so that's why they're going to take him, because they are going to dominate, and the defense is what's going to dominate the games.
Yeah.
So that's why they're going to take him. Yeah. They're going to take him. I don't think he's realistic. I've seen Manny Diaz, not realistic. I don't think Manny has a reason to move unless they're literally blowing this thing up in Penn State, and he doesn't have another head coaching job left, right? And then I can
Yeah.
see him be. Now that's another one whom I do not want, but I can see him being on a short list because Penn State just fired the OC.
Yeah.
So unless they're trying to keep the structure, right? And Manny Diaz is recruited. I mean, Kalen King is probably going to be the best corner in the country.
Yeah.
And so he's gotten guys. It's just a matter of I want to make sure that we're not like go get the make those top three tell you no before you look at a Manny Diaz.
I got you. And then they gotta get permission from us, any of these schools, right? They gotta get permission from these schools to talk to any of these guys. Look, a lot of these guys are not free agents. Like they have to be. They have to be. Courted the right way. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So, all right. So we talked about the little Oregon. Talked about Caleb Williams. Talked about the end of the Pac-12. Lincoln Riley. Some and then just some news about the defensive coordinator. So as long as that continues, we'll see when that will. You would think it would happen soon, right? Because you're getting right after the season starts, you're getting right back into trying to get kids to come to your school.
Right, but I mean, so it'll probably have to be after they'll probably start talking to people after the season, right? Before bowl games, stuff like that. You'll start hearing the carousel really turn up. Between bowl game practices, some of these teams like Jim Leonard's, I don't think Illinois is making a bowl game, so don't worry about him. I don't think Baylor's making a bowl game. You won't have to worry about them, and you have to see if if he's going to be fired or not. So those are things we're going to just kind of navigate. We'll see what the bowl season kicks off and who makes a bowl, who doesn't. But outside of that, I don't see it.
Let's see. Yeah, if the number one candidate is Jim Leonard and he is and Illinois is not going anywhere, listen, you got to jump on it. You get your ducks in a row and get those big uglies up front so we can stop the run.
Yeah.
Stop the run so you can earn what do coaches say? Stop the run so you can earn the right to rush the passer.
Yep.
So it's really that simple.
Basically,
it's really really that simple. All right, Coach. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Thanks, sir.
Yep.
Spot on.
Fight on.